Well, hello. I'm Simon Pine from Greener Energy Futures. And what I want to talk about today is how, as a sole trader, somebody who works as an independent energy consultant, I put together a fantastic offer for my clients. And one of the key elements to that is working with experts when recognizing where my boundaries end, where my expertise finishes, and where I need to bring in real deep sector expertise to help me out. And one of the people I've worked with most consistently is Jeremy. And Jeremy, I really appreciate all the advice and the support you've given me. We worked together for probably 5 years on several projects,
Yeah.
and we work well together. Why do you think we work well together?
Well, firstly, thank you for inviting me on your podcast.
No problem.
I think we work well together because we have some similar skills, but then we have different skills that complement each other.
Hmm.
So by collaborating, the client gets the best of two worlds. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
it's
think so.
that.
Because Carter Energy Consulting, I love your sort of slogan, which is saving energy everywhere I go. Have I got that right?
That is correct. I even save energy when I go on holiday and I'm technically off duty.
I love that.
So it's that came about because I've n- I've never found a client I haven't been able to find an energy saving for,
Okay.
and there's even been some of those clients. There was a Formula One client I worked with, and they were really on the ball. And I remember walking around their building, seeing air source heat pumps, seeing LED lighting, seeing really well grilled staff, uh, and thinking, this is going to be a bit tough here. But we still managed to find a 55% energy saving.
Yeah.
And I just realised then that even in really, even in factories where they've got things really tightly controlled, there's still savings to be had.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think the reason that you're able to go in and find so many real, tangible, actionable, practical savings, which is why I want to work with you more, is because clients just don't have the time and the focus to look at these things, and sometimes not the expertise. And so, it's a typical consultant situation, isn't it? Really, bring us in, and we just put up a magnifying glass for you to look through and find the savings and spend the time on it. I think that's a really big part of it, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think you've hit the nail firmly on the head there. A lot of it is resource they have available, and often it's a lot of that resource is sometimes taken up by someone that's working more on the compliance side. And often, in my experience, and I've worked on that compliance side, and sometimes you can get so focused on the compliance side, you're not getting your hands dirty, unearthing those energy saving opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. Is it operationally sufficient? That's what a lot of what we find, isn't it? Which is why, so often recently we've gone into these big organizations, whether it's public sector or industrial, and we've
Yeah.
been able to find some really quick wins because the systems, albeit they're serving some basic level of comfort or
Yeah.
capability, are totally overrunning, aren't they?
Yeah, correct. And or you've got one person that, Simon, we know there's one client we work for that has 150 buildings,
Mm,
and and all of those buildings are on one BMS.
mm.
That requires a team of people, and because of the staff cutbacks they've faced, it then becomes very challenging to manage the energy consumption of those buildings, and that's where we add real value.
Yeah.
And what I like about what you do is you have a clear strategy and where best to prioritize our actions and where best to spend our time.
Oh, that's cool. Well, no, thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, I was going to say, hang on, you do all the work here. But no, I suppose, as you say, it's about sort of trying to cohere the whole. So the customer, we focus on what the customer's objectives are and
Yeah.
focus our time, frankly. So that sort of organizational aspect, isn't it? And what do you think the most satisfying win we've had so far is? The project you walked away and gone, that was fantastic.
That's a very good question. The easy answer, I think, is the big wins we've made, which haven't required much effort on our part, and that has to be BMS optimization.
Yeah.
There was the public sector client where we did BMS optimization in 3 of their buildings, and payback was achieved in 1 month. You know, that was very satisfying indeed. And also, what was particularly satisfying, we said when we estimated what those savings would be, they actually turned out to be very close to what the actual savings turned out to be very close to our estimation, which was very satisfying indeed.
I mean, in fact, and that's where I guess I come in again sometimes is, what you're able to do is calculate what you practically think is achievable. And then, my job to sort of liaise with the client, get the data, assess it, measure it, analyze it, and make that comparison and
Yeah,
just kind of, lock it in, because without measuring the impact of these, it can often be the case that clients don't gain faith in the process. So I think, you've gone in, identified the savings, the clients then enacted and processed those. I've helped to validate those, and so we go again. So for this,
yeah,
for one particular medical devices company, we're on what are probably our you're just on your third cycle of energy audit for them, right? Because we did ESOS 2 on a catch up, we did ESOS 3,
yeah,
then we embedded you as a sort of an energy manager on a once a month basis.
yeah.
And now we've done ESOS 4, haven't we? We've just completed that in preparation for the next cycle.
Correct. Yeah, and also, as you know, the challenge for us sometimes is a lot of these organisations don't always have their data up to date, and so part of the challenge is getting the data from the client.
Absolutely. Yeah, it often delays the project significantly,
Mm,
doesn't it, when I do that?
yeah,
So I think, and going forward, then, so we've managed to, achieve real practical, actionable savings for these clients in a really coherent, usable
yeah.
way that have, and we've gone back again and we found more. What more do you think clients should be doing to get on top of energy management? That you just
Well,
give them a takeaway. What's their takeaway? You say things you should do.
things you should do for those medical clients, for those scientific clients, the majority of those clients are going to have a BMS system.
Hmm.
And in my opinion, 90% of BMS systems across buildings across the country are heavily underused.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of talk in the press about how we are going to be able to leverage AI to generate further energy savings. And I sort of think, well, AI is just a tool. It's just like the BMS tool that right now the majority of buildings are underusing. AI will be a good tool, but it'll only be a good tool if we decide to use it. And there are various tools out there right now, such as BMS systems, that we aren't deploying enough. We aren't using their potential enough.
No, we're not. I mean, and the reality is, and I think that we could, as you say, AI is touted as this kind of cure-all, but the reality is that what we see in clients' sites is so much more basic, much of the time, that actually just having a basic control strategy is a really big improvement for them. And if you wanted to assume that they had these all integrated, all singing, all dancing data systems,
Yeah,
they're not there. They are at the let's
yeah,
schedule everything properly with the right temperature settings and the right pressure, or it might be the right quality, air quality. That's where they're at, and they do not have a very integrated approach. So I think this is why we can add some immediate value, isn't it?
and also, if I can just answer your question
Mm,
with a different answer,
yeah.
the first thing to start doing is to get your data right,
Okay.
get your data correct,
Yeah.
understand your data,
Yeah.
know what your monthly consumption should look like.
Yes.
Then you begin to understand it. Then you can say, well, then you can spot anomalies, and sometimes understanding why you've saved energy is just as important as understanding why you've overconsumed.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so then good data and
Yeah,
thinking about how you control your buildings are probably two key things. Anything
yeah.
else you want to add to that? Any more giveaways?
That's just the starting point. Get
Yeah,
that data correct.
yeah,
A university I used to work for, I would say to them, I started at year X. The data prior to that is not my data, so I'm not 100% sure. I can't say definitely how reliable that data is. So for me, it's all about the data, but
yeah,
you've got to get it. You've got to have a good understanding of it and be confident it's correct. If you're trying, for example, if you're trying to undertake an efficiency project on a building, and you have no, and your data has no credibility, it becomes a much harder sale.
yeah. It does. It does exactly. Well, fantastic. So I think what we've got today out of this short discussion really is that it's really important to have good collaborators, right? To be able to have a good reflection point and have built that understanding with each other. That's what I really value about working with you is to build a good understanding of sympathetic kind of skills where you have got the engineering insights to walk in and find practical savings, and I've got perhaps the data, a bit of that, but more of a kind of the data and client management angle. So we work really well together on ESOS projects
Simon,
again and again.
Simon, you are underselling yourself there. On those projects where we've worked together, and I've gone off, done some buildings, you've gone off and done some buildings, and then we've met and we've compared notes, and there's been a lot of, have you considered this? And you've said, have you considered that? And having that feedback, that's what collaboration is about, because we will have different views on things and we'll look at things slightly differently.
Yeah.
And it's you've provided me with some incredible insights which have really improved me.
Well,
So thank you. I absolutely thoroughly enjoy working with you.
Well, thank you very much. No, and it's an absolute pleasure, and this love it. So collaboration absolutely key to getting these kind of projects as effective as they can be for clients. But for clients who are trying to engage in energy management and want some basic starter tips, this kind of get your data, round up your data, understand your data and what it speaks to, what it's speaking about,
Yeah,
and understand your control systems if you want some really quick wins. Those have been
yeah.
some of our best takeaways. So here's to some more success, especially with ESOS 4 coming up. So looking forward to many more projects with you on that. And well, obviously, let me just summarize your attitude again, which is this fantastic one of saving energy everywhere I go. I'm not quite as obsessive as you, but it always produces some interesting LinkedIn content. You're on LinkedIn. What is your LinkedIn handle, as it were?
Just bear with me.
Because mine's easy. Mine's Simon Pine. I'm easy to find on it because I've got a fairly
Yeah,
distinctive name.
I'm exactly the same. I am Jeremy Carter,
Great.
energy consultant, saving energy through energy auditing and real-time energy data monitoring.
All right.
So
Well,
yeah,
Jeremy, thank
and
you.
unfortunately, I might be a bit more difficult to find because Jeremy Carter, particularly in America, is a very popular name.
Well, exactly. So what we'll do off the back of this video is I'll post your LinkedIn handle so that people can
Thank
find you
you.
as well as your website. People obviously will, in many cases, know me.
Yeah.
I'll post mine as well. Really appreciate your time today, and look forward to
Thank
the
you.
next project together.